Hey y'all, welcome to a new episode of Tabari's Take. And this week we've been talking about the 2026 film, The Stepfather, starring Taye Diggs and Tamar Braxton. Alright, this film, first of all, I was immediately drawn to it because I saw this poster with Taye Diggs looking like a villain. And I've always wanted to see him as a villain. Nisa and I were watching All American, like off and on, you know what I mean? And so he's in there, he's being Taye Diggs, he's being charming, he's being helpful, he's a great dad, he's a great coach, he's a great man all around, great husband. And in this, he's going to be the opposite of that. He's going to be a villainous stepfather who is trying to get his own perfect family, but when it inevitably fails, he kills them. So the movie starts off, it is Leon, he is a child, he is about 10 years old, something like that, and he is with a therapist after his stepfather has died. And we find out that he let his stepfather die because he was beating him. His stepfather had a heart attack while beating him, and he died. If any of y'all watched Black Monday out there with Don Cheadle and Regina Hall, you understand that the character Blair happened to him. His father beat him to death. Well, his father had a heart attack while he was beating him, and this is why he doesn't feel better with his father. And so that to me was really funny because it's told for jokes in that show, and over here it's like supposed to be told more seriously. So I think it's crazy to be beating someone so much that you die, and then you ask him for help. And so he's asking the kid for help. He's like, "Leon, help me, son." Son gets up like, "I thought it wasn't your son." Takes the belt and like walks away, and see like he dies. He lets him die. Me and Nisa had a huge conversation about this, about whether or not he let him die. I want to say yeah. I don't think he was wrong letting him die. I don't think he needs to go to jail or prison, and he needs help. But he let that man die. He knew enough that if he didn't help him, he would die. And so we have a little bit of that. Then we cut to more present day, closer present day, and we see Taye Diggs with his current family that he is staging the murder of them. Right, he's staging the house fire. So the little girl's on the couch. The mom he's dragging her into the kitchen, and the little boy's in the corner of the kitchen, scared. And we see him go to him. He's like, "Oh, it's okay, little boy, it's okay. It's fine. You're the good boy. You ate your dinner." And he grabs the poison that he ate poison with. He's like, "You got about 30 seconds or so before poison takes effect." Meanwhile, mom and old girl is passed out. So whatever, we'll see. And so that didn't make sense to me. But anyway, yeah. So after that, he does this little like dance scene to like deal with the fact that he's had the kill in the family. He can't be happy. Why does this keep happening to me? And he's like starts dancing to some song, and very bold choices on the dancing there. You know what I mean? He's like dancing over the dead body of his ex-wife and stuff, and like cheering, and like we see him a little bit dancing over the kid's body in the corner. So I don't know what we're supposed to get from that, is that he's the villain. It never comes up again. He doesn't dance anymore. There's not a lot of joy in his character. But anyway, family. He leaves the house. The house is on fire. Leaves to go to the store. The police, we see him in interrogation, and he's saying that he's like crying. "I went to get more food or more ingredients to the store. I was gone 20 minutes and the house burned down, and my so-and-so was over here and he was in the kitchen and da-da-da-da." And so he's like grieving, and the cop's like, "You need a break?" He's like, "No, let me finish. He's like, "I got the receipt in my pocket. I was just at the store. I was only gone 20 minutes. And so they buy it and let him go, because like he's crying real hard, he's crying real tears, so obviously he didn't do it. And he has an alibi, so obviously it didn't happen. There's electrical fire, so no one suspects him of anything. Fast forward, or now we introduce our characters, Asia, who is played by Tamar Braxton, and Asia. And Asia is with Tim, her husband, and they're arguing about Tim works too much, and she wants him to be part of the family more, see the girls more. And then we have Tim being like, you years in the house all the time, and you never be doing nothing, and you just be in the house. And she was like, "I used to do stuff, and you wanted me to be a housewife and take care of these kids. Now I'm doing that, and now you resent me for it." He's like, "It's always an excuse." He's like, "I want to leave." And then she's like, "Who is she? Who's you leave me for? That's your problem. You always assuming." Of course, we find out later that he left her for his secretary. It was like some years later, and then we get to that, whatever. So of course they break up. Sasha, the younger daughter, sees all this. Fast forward a year or so. I think it's actually fast forward a year, and we see Asia and Sasha at the grocery store, and they're picking out stuff for dinner, and Sasha's complaining that her mom always cooks Mexican food. It's like, you always cook Mexican food, and I'm never anything good, and I want this and I want that. And the mom's like, what do you want, actually? So she says she wants like hamburgers or spaghetti, which to me are two very great options and relatively easy to make. Spaghetti is the easiest, that's the easiest thing to make in the world. You can buy everything itself. It's just like ground meat and tomatoes and pasta. I don't know what's so hard with that. Put some seasons on there, a little rosemary. Anyway, so apparently it's too much because the mom's like, you got taste buds all over the place, which I thought is a personal reasonable request. Taye Diggs over here is his character. His name is now, he's going by Darnell now. And so he's there and he's like, first of all, anybody overhearing my conversation and talking to me and giving me advice, you already own that. I already not listen to you like that, but especially it's like, if I was a woman and it's me and my daughter over here and this man comes up to me and like, also he's addressing the daughter around the mother and being like, yeah, little mama, First of all, back up. I don't know who you are. You know what I mean? It's a post-COVID world. I don't know what you got going on. Every man is a villain. I don't know. Back up, bro. So, but the mom doesn't see it. Mom's like being charmed because ultimately he does look like Taye Diggs. So ultimately she's not that strong. who could be, right? So he's like, you should have this bell pepper. It has more flavor, and she's roasted and so-and-so. And so they have this like kind of back and forth. He's coming on strong. She's vibing it. Whole time Sasha's like, Sasha's my favorite. She's not buying it. And then the scene ends with them like, maybe I'll see you again. Who knows what happens? Maybe I'll catch up with you. I don't know if they even exchange numbers. And then as we leave the scene, Sasha says, I don't trust him. The next scene is 6 months later. Asia and Darnell are now engaged. They eloped and they're at the house now celebrating their wedding. So now we're 6 months later, and so Asia's brother is I think his name is Brett. I think it is. Asia's brother is there, and yeah, his name is Brett. So Asia's brother's there, and he's like, "Damn, I wish I would have had an invitation." Yada yada yada. I'm glad you're happy. Yada yada. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm happy. It was all I wanted to be. I just met him. He's the most caring, understanding man. Yada yada yada. That's cool." They come in, they meet, and it's like everything's all cool. And then the older daughter, Melanie, comes back from college with her boyfriend Brad, and she's like, "Dad, she's all in because she grew up with the dad Tim, the ex-husband Tim, and she's like, fuck him. He been shit forever. Mom's happy, I'm happy, So she's calling him dad, calling him pops. He meets the boyfriend, and then we start to see the first of these hallucinations that Darnell will have, where he hallucinates himself doing something extremely violent, like his inner thoughts, but it's not really clear if he really thinks that it's happening or he doesn't remember it's happening, because he doesn't react necessarily to them happening. We as the viewer get this weird fake out that, something happened, but actually it was a dream sequence. So actually nothing happened. So you're playing my emotions and nothing actually happened. No one got slapped. So he has this flashback to his stepfather slapping him about a handshake. Like, remember when you shake a man's hand, look him in the eye and shows respect, it also shows you no fear. And so he slaps him. And then he has this line that he says repeatedly throughout the movie that actually makes no sense. Like, you can't choose your family, but when you're older, you can. And then you can have a better life then. And it's like, can I choose my family or not? But you just said I couldn't choose them. Then directly after that, you said I could choose them when I get older. So I should just wait till I get older. So he hallucinates himself slapping Brad, being like, you better shake my hand, young man, or whatever. But then he does tell him, when you shake a man's hand, look him in the eyes. Just not intimidate him, whatever. So then later that night, we see Darnell creep into the room where Melanie, the older daughter, and Brad are sleeping in the room, and just looks over them for a little bit and walks out. And then the next morning, we see everybody's at breakfast or whatever. Beautiful kitchen. Amazing kitchen, by the way. Beautiful island. And he's making breakfast for everybody. He's making pancakes for Sasha, certain things that Melanie liked, and just being a good man, I guess. And they having some time together. They're doing what's it called? There's game night situation going on. So we see the family bonding for their week or the holiday that old girl is there from school. Melanie is there from school, so they have this kind of break there. And then sometime later, we see back at the house that Brad is there again, and Taye Diggs or Darnell's like, oh, so, did I scare you the first time I met you? And what is this? Was talking to him a little bit, trying to intimidate him, but he's like, you like to eat pussy? And the Brad's like, what? He said, what? He's like, oh no, did you see the pussy, little cat? No one is calling a cat a pussy. There's no one in the world. No one says pussy cat anymore. No one is doing that. So I would have told everybody, hey, your dad talking about, do I like eating pussy? I would have snitched on him so fast because that's inappropriate. And it's around this time that we go back to the, what's it called? Like the cops apparently on the trail. There's a new detective who was like a rookie and he's like being brash. So we meet, what's his name? John Simmons or whatever his name is. Then we meet the detective from earlier when they realize they let the wrong person go because they see a string of murders that happen back to back, like 3 states happened where a family was killed, it was a fire, and it was a stepfather left over. And they were all, on autopsy, they discovered they were all poisoned, rat poison. So we have 3 families being killed by rat poison, and then electrical fire, and then a man leaving. So they're like, we got to find this guy. We don't know his name, but we think we're gonna find him. So they go to find the what's her name, Marcia. Marcia is his therapist from he was a kid, and Marcia is a terrible example of a therapist. They come in, she's giving up all the information, all the tea. It's like, oh, he had bipolar disorder, or he got schizophrenia, he got depression, anxiety, leave from all his trauma, yada yada. I don't know how much of this is true and how you can have bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. I'm not saying it can't be true. From my understanding, that's like those are very distinct, but who knows? I don't expect Marcus Houston, who wrote the screenplay, and Chris Stokes, who actually wrote the movie, to understand all that. And hey, so she's saying that he calls me every time that he's happy, and he calls me every time that he's sad. So basically, she's calling her for a minute or so to say, I found the perfect family. And she's like, wait, stay on the phone. He hangs up. And then he calls her before he's about to kill him. It actually wasn't a perfect family, so they got to go. So this happens at least 3 times, and she's told nobody about it. She's like, he just needs help, yada, yada. That's 9 people at least that he's killed. If it's 3 and 3 each time. Like, you know what I mean? That's 3 women he killed. That's 3 kids he killed at least. So it's between like 6 and 9 people that you just like, I think he just needs help. It's too late for help because the people that he's killing, they need help more so they can keep living their lives. What are we doing? Like, empathy should only go so far. Like, he's just let's help him get off the streets first instead of just like, I don't know, do something, girl. And Marcia's telling him basically that when he was 5, he watched his birth father die to gang violence, and he was too young to call the police, so he died. Then when he was 7, his mom married his new stepfather, and his stepfather's beating him so hard that he has a heart attack and dies. He lets that happen, and then we see, so like he never had a chance, so she's saying. And I tried to help him, and he would be in my office, and he would be just going to these fugue states where he would just keep saying, what's the line? Like, you can't pick your family, but when you get older, you can. Maybe one day you have a better life. You can't pick your family until you're older, then you can. And it's like, he's repeating that, which is still bullshit. But he's repeating that. He has these distinct personalities trying to manifest that really don't really come into play, I guess, until he's like his 20s or something like that. Because he went from being 7 until like 20s, 30s without doing this, like find the perfect family for the first time. So who cares, whatever. So I think it's all this happened the same weekend, unclear of the time. So Melanie's about to go to, the night before Melanie leaves to go back to school, Sasha has her first period, and the family's like joking a little bit about it. Or the mom's trying to do a good job, but Melanie's giving her shit, being like, no, you have a period. And she's like, doing what older sisters do is embarrass her little sisters. She runs to the room. Darnell goes to comfort her. Then we know the hallucination where he slaps her and says, don't you ever disrespect your mother like that, and choking her out. You never fucking my perfect family. But of course it's a hallucination, so it means nothing. So narratively, it means nothing. And he gives her a little box with some pads in it, and he says, this little note that says, I'm here, do you want to talk, whatever. So the daughter, who will not call him dad. Hugs him. Was like, thank you, Darnell. I appreciate it. So, something's going on here too. She's like, you earned it. You saw something else. Even my actually blood family couldn't see it. So, I give you some credit. I fuck with you a little bit more now. And so the next day they are talking, you're ready to go to work or whatever, to leave the house. I don't know where the mom is because she was there for a while. But before the daughter goes to leave, Tim, the ex-husband, just shows up at the house. And of course, Tim's like, not Tim, but Darnell's like, get the fuck out of my property. What are you doing here? You're not coming to my house. And what's her name? Melanie, who is fuck the dad, who's fucked Tim, is on Team Darnell, is like, get his ass, basically. And there's a little bit of tension there, but basically he's like, get off my property, it won't be a problem. So apparently Sasha called the dad when she was going through her period, and to be fair, my favorite line, that's why Sasha's my favorite. Sasha's like, you know what, Darnell, I know you helped me because like my period, whatever, but I know we're building or whatever, but you're like not my dad. Everybody's like, shh, Sasha, stop. And Darnell's like, you know what, that's right. Actually, I should stop acting like the dad for real. And so he leaves. Asia goes to go find him, before he leaves to talk to him. Somehow Tim is there. This is very confusing to me. So apparently so Darnell leaves, and then Asia leaves to go find him moments later, but somehow Tim got past Darnell and is at the backyard and in the house. And now they're talking, getting a little too close. And of course he's like, I made a big mistake when I left you, and people make mistakes, and can you ever make mistakes? You ever forget mistakes? She's like, no, I'm happy with my new nigga now. He's like, do you love her? Like, do you love him? And she's like, he take care of me, and he loves me. Do you love him? And then so they get really close. He kisses her, allegedly, and Darnell comes back in the house. He's like, what the fuck? Beats the brakes off this nigga, bro. Headbutts him, punches him in the face a couple times, start working on the body. And then hits him with, he's stomping the dog shit out of him while he's on the ground. Asia goes try to stop it. She gets backhand across the room. That'd have been it for me. You beat the shit out of my ex-husband and you slap me? That's a wrap, bro. That's a wrap. And then talk about it no more. And so, at this point, too, we don't know where the kids are at. Maybe she gets them away when the mom comes in. I don't know. People disappear from scenes. We don't know where they get, but whatever. So, beats the dog shit out of him. Next scene, they're at the precinct, and they're like, you beat the shit out of this nigga, bro. He's unconscious. He got broken ribs. He might not wake up. You're going to be here until he wake up and see if you're going to press charges or not. If you're pressing charges, you're going to fucking jail. We're just holding you. And the story is inconsistent between both of them. She's saying that he kissed me and I let him kiss me, but you know what I mean? It was just a fight. And Darnell's like, he was grew up with my wife. He was full up with my wife. He forced himself on her. So I was just to protect myself. And I'm like, bro, you got no scratches on you. You don't have a bruise. You don't have a scratch. Like, what's that scene in Players Clubs? Like, damn, did you at least pinch the bitch? Yeah. So it can't be a defense, like a fight if you don't have those scratches and he's unconscious with broken ribs and everything, right? And so they're gonna keep him in jail. They have to go on for a while, and then so he stays there. So we're gonna see what happened. But the next scene, my nigga, is this is so crazy. The next scene is the daughter Sasha talking to the dad on the phone while he's at home. Now we see him at home with nary a bruise on his face, not a band-aid or nothing. You know in the cartoons when they like a little fighting up like a little fake scratch, a little band-aid? They couldn't give my boy a band-aid. He just got beat to the point where we thought he might not wake up. He had a concussion. Like, we don't know what the diagnosis is. And you cut the next scene and he's unfazed at home on the phone? Is this the same day? This is a week later? I ain't never had no broken ribs, but I've had a fractured bone right here. That shit took at least 6 weeks to heal. Like a hairline fracture. Now imagine my ribs broke. So I'm like, he had a concussion, he's just home now? So that really pissed me off. That really pissed me off more than anything else in this movie. So while Sasha is on the phone with Tim, her dad, she gets to the phone because they're going to hang out later today. She's just going to pick her up. Darnell comes and he overhears it because the door's open, wide open. It's like, overhear that, who you on the phone with? And she's like, I'm going to go out with my friends later. They're like, you didn't run it by me and your mom? She's like, you're not my dad. I don't have to run by anything by you. So we see the first time that we actually see Darnell do something in real life that is threatening. Because everything else has been hallucination, so it doesn't mean anything because nothing's happening. So he's like, you better taking me seriously, yada yada, and he's walking being very serious, but then he like, there's like a little jump scare with the pillow. So it's like, oh, okay, so we can see that he has a dark side without like, because we don't see the distinction, or we just see like, he's a freak, and then we don't see him like, do anything. But this is one of the good moments where he actually has some tension and some like intimidation about him. I was like, okay. And so the next scene is we see Tim at home, and then we see some bruises, some like makeup bruises on his chest or whatever, and a little bandage because he's getting out of the shower, he's getting ready to go pick up his daughter or whatever. He is in the mirror, he looks down and looks back up, or while he's looking down, we see Taye Diggs in the mirror. If you've seen a horror film in the last like 20 years, 30 years, you've seen this coming. It's not really a jump scare. As are all the jump scares in this film. We just see Taye Diggs just pop out the corner. And also, Taye Diggs is not looking scary at all. He looks like I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he's not looking intimidating. And so he has to do a little more to be intimidating and not do anything with it. So him just jumping out of places and popping up is not really scary because I'm not scared of Taye Diggs. Yeah. So anyway, we go back. He's in the house now, and then as he's fully dressed, he chokes him out, and he's like breaks his neck and makes him fall down like 5 stairs. To see the idea that he'll like, when they find his body, he fell down the stairs and broke his neck. He goes back home and he's hanging out with the family. And meanwhile, Sasha's like, "Why did my dad show up? He never showed up. He didn't call me nothing. He wouldn't do this." And everybody else is like, "That nigga ain't shit. Fuck him." So she's worried. She eventually calls her uncle Brett to go check on him, and then Brett's like, "I'm actually 5 minutes away. Yeah, perfect time. I'm gonna go check on him right now." He goes and finds him in the house dead. You know what I mean? He calls the cops and the cops get involved. But we'll come back to that situation too. So back at the house, so after Darnell leaves after a certain fight later, or talking to old girl, being like, "Do you still love this nigga, bro? Do you still love me? I don't know if I trust you anymore." Justifiably so. And Darnell, Brett is saying, if you really don't love him, or you really still have questionables, if you're unsure, you should just tell Darnell. You should let him know what's going on. If it's not going to be too much, you should let him go and get a divorce. You should tell him, no matter what, you should be honest with him and tell him what's going on. So she's like, okay, I'll tell him what's going on. And later, Darnell and Asia are talking, and they break up rather amicably. A little too amicably for me. If you were with me and you kiss your ex in my house, your ex like partner, your ex marriage partner, spouse in my house, and then you leave me because you're still in love with them, I'd be upset. Like I get to understanding that you don't be no more because ultimately I'm mature, but I would be upset. He was just like, okay, you know what? Let's just have one more dinner. I just want to remember the family. That's alarming to not have no reaction to me want to leave you. I know you. I've seen your violence. I've seen that you react to certain things. It was one time, but maybe it's on point because he's so understanding, but I don't believe it. I'm not buying it. Anyway, so they're going to have one more dinner with everybody there, and Brad shows up, and Darnell's like, "What? I didn't invite you here. It's just family." I was like, "Oh, whatever." So Melanie goes to the bathroom. He takes Brad out back and beats him to death with a shovel. There is a squelch sound that we hear of like him killing him with it. As he hits his face, we hear a squelch sound, but then we see his face later. There's not a drop of blood on his face. Again, strike two, pissing me off. Stop acting like you're hurting people when no one's getting hurt. You can put a little. It wasn't even close up. We saw it from far away, so it was like he killed this nigga. He speeded him to death with a shovel, and there's no blood. So go back in the house. There's no blood spatter on him in there. He's just gonna get back to dinner. And Melanie's like, "Where's Brad?" "Oh, he left because his mom is sick." "How can that be? His mom is dead." "Oh, I don't know why he would lie to me. I don't know. Oh, well, I guess you can't trust these niggas, bro. Okay, so what you want for dinner?" And I'm they're so trustworthy of this guy. It's so trustworthy of him. Also, we never found out if Tim pressed charges or not. I'm guessing he doesn't. And I think there's reason to not press charges on the partner of your ex-wife. They beat you to almost like beat the shit out of you. but also fuck Darnell. You know what I mean? But I guess he also understands he's trying to, excuse me, I also understand that he's trying to repair a relationship with Asia and his kids. So pressing charges probably wouldn't be the best thing to do, but we just blow past that. And on top of the no scars on your face, also, I forgot to bring this up too, there's a scene between Asia and Darnell talking about why he's actually so triggered by the infidelity and whatnot, and why he's having a hard time with this. But we see him, his ex-wife apparently, who was, so they met and they got married, and after they get married, he comes to find out not only that she has kids, but now since the ex-husband died, she has now full custody. So here he is in a new marriage, and now he has to take care of these 2 kids now, and he's not having that. So he that's the family scene in the beginning. He kills them. Justifiable crash out? I would have just left. You could just leave, like, because that's a big secret that you had kids already, whether you had custody or not, and you tell me now after we're married that you got kids, nigga. So now we're basically getting paired for Darnell's like, I realizing that this isn't the perfect family. I'm going to kill him and do my thing again and go away. So he goes to a hotel room where we now see that he has 3 distinct personalities. It is the current one, Darnell. It is his original personality, which is Leon. And then Kennedy is the next one. So I thought it was really funny. I was the Easter egg or what? Why is Leon Kennedy in this movie? Now their names are different, so it's Leon and it's Kennedy and it's Darnell. But when they say Leon and Kennedy back together, it makes what are we doing? So he's in a hotel talking to his other personalities, and he's like, I don't want to kill them. I have to do. And the Leon is like the violent one. He's like, we gotta kill them because they ain't perfect. We don't forgive that. We don't forgive cheating. And Kennedy is like, we gotta do. What happened last time? You just gotta get rid of him. And Darnell says something like, I didn't kill him, you killed him. Talking about Tim. He says this to Leon. And so that invalidates what we hear earlier from the psychiatrist or the therapist, is that he doesn't know he's committing crimes. So the whole thing about earlier when they were interrogating him in the beginning, and he was crying so hard because he actually thought that someone else killed his family. We know that's not true because we also know now that he knows that the other versions of him did things. So he knows that other personalities will take over when things need to be protected. I wish they would have leaned into that, where it was like, when he needs to be protected, his street persona comes out, like his original persona comes out. I'll get into more of that later. But so he's cooking them. So back at the house, he's cooking them dinner, and then while dinner is happening, he's like, I appreciate y'all. I want to make sure y'all know, like, it's not my perfect family, but I do appreciate y'all for having the time that we had here. And then she gets a phone call from Brett saying that Tim is dead. And of course the family's all distraught, and everybody's like, what the fuck going on? And Darnell's like, can we just eat first? And everyone's like, no, nigga, we can't eat. I gotta figure out what's going on. We got stuff to do. And he's like, that's why I had to kill him. He freaks out. He starts freaking out. He starts seeing Leon. He's like, leave me alone, Leon. So he starts to see hallucinations, or the personalities start to emerge, and his walls are breaking down. He's like fracturing his sanity or whatever is breaking apart, and it's coming undone right now. And then they're like, you did what? And so everybody's freaking out a little bit, and he reveals that he killed the stepdad, he killed Brad, and he's mocking them, whatever. And he's like, you're scaring me. And so Sasha, the diva, gets up and goes to stab him with a knife. He kicks the shit out of her across the kitchen, and she's out. Mom's trying to choke him, whatever. He's like doing his little blocking shit like this. He's blocking straight to the face, to the forehead, knocks Asia out, and then goes to chase down Melanie as she's called the police and trying to get them back over there. So he's chasing down Melanie and trying to find her. And then he's like, oh, you're my favorite. I don't want to actually do this. So she jumps him. He knocks her out. It's like choking her out from behind. Asia saves the day by shooting him in the chest. Now, how the cops found out that they were there is that they were on the trail. Then they found out that somehow they found a picture with Asia in it. They do facial recognition, find Asia, found out her old house, because she's living with Darnell now, found her old house. And then they get a call that the stepdad or her ex-husband is dead, so they go find the ex-husband. Then they see Brett there, and then they're like, we gotta help you. We're gonna help you find Asia because Darnell, or whatever his name is a killer. Excuse me. So we can help you find him. And then Brett gets a call. No, they get a call somewhere from they said there's a police call going out from his residence at this address. Brett's like, that's Asia's address. Let's go. So they all run over there. Cops get there, but already it's handled over there because Asia had the gun, shot him already. And then we go outside, and apparently by the time the cops get there and everything, there's no body. We don't find Darnell. And we'll fast forward like a year later, he's with another family about to do it again. They got 2 kids and a mom. He's about to do it again because the little boy's like, you ain't my daddy. So, and that's the end of the movie. Okay, so final thoughts, right? So I think that there is a really interesting, let's talk to Nisa about this. And there's a really interesting concept that's happening here, because what pulled me to the film actually was seeing Taye Diggs as the villain, and I normally see him as this lovable role. He's in rom-coms and he's always earnest and swaggy, that big, beautiful smile, bald head, black man, everybody's like, loves him, right? And I was curious to see what he would do with the role. And acting aside, there was nothing there. I didn't see a lot of range. Actually, not acting aside, like it was trash. The actual performance of what was supposed to be going on, like he felt very one note, and that he was really reaching for this darkness. And it's interesting because I thought he could have gone a little bit more we've seen him be charming. We know that he's very charming and heartwarming and whatnot. And so it would be interesting to see the charm, why people are so attracted to him, because he is very charming on top of being fine, right? So if we can see that and then see the flip side of that, which he is now intimidating or scary, that would have really, really interesting. And that would have been cool, but we don't see those sides very much, not in a very good way. And it's opened up the bigger conversation of, at least I were having, is when do we get to see black men, especially dark-skinned men, be crazy? When we see someone who's schizophrenic or doesn't know what they're doing is wrong, or they're murdering people and they can't help it, it's usually a white man, a middle-aged white man. We see it with, I think, Penn Badgley in the Netflix show You. Like he's not schizophrenic, but he's a maniac, a serial killer, and has like all stuff going on, and has this like has routine how he kills people. And we see, of course, like the Joker, and we see maybe even Memento. We don't say crazy, but he's a violent guy. But we don't see a lot of black men being the crazy killer. Now we do see a bit of it when maybe they're ex-military, or maybe they're in a gang or something like that. We saw it with Marlowe on The Wire, but again, gang member, drug dealer. So it's like they're already violent, and maybe this led to them being, but he's not crazy. You know what I mean? I say he's more cold-hearted, more sociopathic, but he's not crazy. You would, as like Ted Bundy or a fucking Ed Gein or what's the other nigga, Jeffrey Dahmer. Like he's not. We wouldn't say him like crazy. He's like he's just more cruel. He's a product of his environment. We see, I think the character name is Lawrence in BMF, but he's a little more out there. But again, he's not really, not really crazy in that sense where he's like just doing shit and no one can like understand what he's doing stuff for him. He still is seen as very smart and very capable. Again, product of your environment. We don't really see. I think it's an interesting opportunity because we don't see black men as crazy like that in any performances. So we don't see like a regular black man who's not a victim of a crime necessarily, or isn't doing crime, or isn't in doing the military stuff, which is like super illegal, or like they can do stuff that is illegal anyway. We don't see people who are not ex-military or ex gangs or anything like that, or drug dealers, where they can be crazy like that. And we definitely don't see them being schizophrenic. And part of it is we don't see how schizophrenia is diagnosed, or people aren't getting diagnosed in our community. So we don't know how it manifests in a lot of ways like that. In a lot of ways we see schizophrenia manifest, it is through TV. It's more so voices talking to you. It's not necessarily things it's not necessarily distinct like personalities flip like that. That's more borderline personality disorder, I thought. But schizophrenia is a little more this voice is talking to you, telling you to do things, and it's hard to tell kind of what's a disconnect between you and reality, and that has manifest in that way. And this film's kind of all over the place with how it's depicted and whatnot. And I was hoping for something there to see him like as a villain as being intimidating. Not to say we don't see black people being intimidating. We see that all the time, but we don't see them crazy like this. And I would say overall that what I really want to talk about this film, because a couple of things. One, it's Taye Diggs as a villain, which I was really excited about seeing, and there was nothing that he didn't do any. I've seen him act in other stuff, and it's really good stuff. I've seen him like bring me to tears and other stuff. This was not it. He kept doing his voice. And he was be like, well, "You told me no one would love me." When he was like in his crazy voice, it was just like a high pitched voice, and we didn't see it when he was like angry or yelling. We didn't get I didn't see the rage necessarily. I didn't see the rage from him. So I don't know if that's the actual material that he's actually worked with, and also the director, Chris Stokes. Actually, is the reason I'll talk about this. This movie is made by Chris Stokes, who directed You Got Served back in the day. He's done a bunch of other films since then. His production company is called Footage Films, and he's done. You might have seen trailers for the movie Run. This alien poster right here. And it came out like a couple years ago, and he's doing other stuff since then. And also, Marcus Houston wrote the screenplay for this, and so producer, writer, and director was Chris Stokes did this. And so I want to do some more Chris Stokes films. I think I watched one of the things, I forgot what it was, that was like, this is what we're doing, bro. So I enjoyed that part of it, but I really wanted Taye Diggs to give us some villainous activities, but we did not get that. And yeah, it's ultimately disappointing because this movie is made by black men, and it's not doing black men anything good for, anything interesting about black men being said in the film. I think there's a really interesting area to explore is how schizophrenia and how a serial killer maniac looks as a black man. Like, what does it look like for them? How does it manifest? How do they navigate the world like that? How does race come in and involve into it? But we're not interested in looking into any of that. We're just interested in flashbacks that don't mean anything, and actually rather upsetting because we keep having these flashbacks. I think something's happening, but it's not happening. So anyway, I think it was an interesting watch. It's like the story is there. To me, the story is there, but how it's presented to us and acting is not very interesting, and I was laughing the whole time, especially when watching Taye Diggs want to act crazy. His little stop it. That's like that is like I can do that, and I'm not an actor by any means, so take all this with a grain of salt. But nah. So that has been Tabari's take on the 2026 film Stepfather, starring Taye Diggs and Tamar Braxton, written, directed, and produced by Chris Stokes. So it's on Tubi right now. It's free, so everyone can check it out, watch it, leave in the comments, tell me what you think about it, and whether Taye Diggs has made you scared of the dark. All right, peace.